So, first of all, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Bogdan Janku, and I'm one of the core developers of the OpenSIPS project. More or less, we have here in the conference room almost all the developers from the project, because that's an important event that we want to do today to communicate with the community. And it worth mentioning that this kind of audio conference, it's the first one we are, let's say, trying to do as an easier way to communicate with, and a friendlier way to communicate to the people. And this is possible thanks to Uber Conference for supporting the OpenSIPS project and providing a business account for the project usage. As we announced, this conference call will be for introducing the upcoming release OpenSIPS 2.3, which is a major release, and we want to get people familiar with the planning regarding the release, and also what will be in the release itself. First of all, a couple of words about the main idea behind the release. If for the previous release, for the OpenSIPS 2.2, we had focused mainly on clustering support, the ability of sharing different kind of resources directly between OpenSIPS instances. For this new release, we changed the focus. We focused on the integration aspect, because it is really important. It's not sufficient to have a really strong SIP engine, like an engine for a car. It's not everything, but if you want to have the whole car, you need a lot of other things around that you have to put together around the engine. So it's the same for the VoIP systems. It's not sufficient to have a really powerful and flexible SIP engine. You also need to be able to integrate it with different other important components. You need to have some billing, you need to have some monitoring, you need to put provisioning, web interfaces, backends. You have to make it talk, maybe SIP, non-SIP, with different other kind of components. So this 2.3 is focused mainly on integration. And as you probably noticed on the list that we published on the blog, there is a quite, I would say, interesting list of features that will be available in OpenSIPS 2.3. Mainly, we will continue the integration with I'm just overviewing. We will discuss a bit more in details after that. We will continue the integration with the HOMO and SIP capture, mainly to increase the capturing capabilities. We have for trunking support the SIP-I support. Then there is the CG rates integration to make much simpler and powerful the billing and rating capability. We have more FreeSwitch integration in terms of enhancing the dispatching and load balancing capabilities in OpenSIPS. We have this new event engine, which basically allows really cool stuff to happen, in a completely asynchronous scenario. New cool stuff to be implemented in OpenSIPS at the script level. There is an RabbitMQ support for to get access to RabbitMQ resources directly at the script level. We have probably you already noticed the mid registrar module for front-ending capabilities, and some new, let's say, goodies when it comes to the asynchronous support, so to be able to do more and more things over there. But we will go one by one and provide details about them, so people will have a better understanding and some expectations from each of them. In terms of planning as a timeline, the target for the OpenSIPS 2.3, the beta release, will be somewhere between the week 13th, 17th of March this year, of course. So that's the target, where more or less the things we mentioned should be ready. But of course, coding, it's not a precise science, so you never know what surprises we may have. Hopefully pleasant. And for the stable release, so we are targeting the 24th, 28th of April week. So basically end of April. Why? Because then in the next week we have the OpenSIPS Summit starting with the 2nd of May 2017, and with the occasion of the summit, the stable OpenSIPS 2.3 will be general available for everyone to use and play with it. Definitely this work of producing the stable OpenSIPS 2.3 will be also thanks to not only to the developers but also to great people with great ideas in terms of what should be done or how it should work, and also to the people torturing every day OpenSIPS to try to find and report things which are not working, more or less the testing, or which is a really important component in order to move from beta to an stable release. So right now we will go through the list, and we will talk a bit about each topic for the release. We opted for this kind of an way of communication, an audio conference, because we want also people to get involved. So if you have questions about the feature we are talking, please feel free to use your microphones. So we want to have a bidirectional discussion here, not necessarily a monologue. And in the same time, to get the best audio experience, people who are not currently speaking, please keep your microphone muted to avoid the interferences. Otherwise, once again, don't hesitate to jump in, question, or maybe come up with some ideas, whatever. So the first on the list, we had the extended Homer SIP capturing integration. This is something we started also we had it for the 2.2 release when we migrated to the latest HEP versions. But what we want to do in 2.3, actually what's already done in 2.3, is an extended capability of capturing more data, and ideally non-SIP data from OpenSIPS, and to push it to the capturing server via HEP protocol. And as examples, right now we are able to extract and automatically capture all the logs you put in your script. So these ones, instead of simply going to the syslog, may be sent to capturing and correlate it with your SIP trace. In a similar way, we can monitor and capture all the management interface commands. For example, you want to monitor different kind of reload commands that you may receive through different kind of backends, and in that case, such monitoring will be useful. Similar, we are able to capture the REST queries that you perform from the script, and you can see them correlated with the SIP traffic. You can capture information from and that's something really important, from the network layer, from the transport layer. For example, if you have TCP or TLS or WebSockets connections, besides the SIP traffic, you may get information, for example, like what's the certificate which was used during the SSL negotiation. For a WebSocket, you can see actually the HTTP part which was done before the actual SIP traffic. So there is a lot of information, once again, also non-SIP information, that will be reported through HEP to the SIP capturing engine, and then you can have a better possibility to monitor and to operate the system. For example, it will be very easy to see through the Homer logs, for example, failed SSL connection, or let's say TLS connections. So connections that never gets to the script. So this will be reported to HEP, and you can see exactly why this kind of a failure. Now, if some customer complains, "Oh, I'm trying to connect through TCP through TLS to you and it doesn't work," well, you can check in through Homer, and you can find the attempts, and you can say yes, because you are using the wrong certificate or whatever. So that's something very, very important, and we are really happy with the collaboration we have with the SIP capture team. That's a great work we are doing together. We are trying to do even more things, but step by step it will be completed. Next topic that we want it is addressed, it's the SIPI integration, or SIP infrastructure. Basically is the ability of OpenSIPS to perform two crucial operations. First is to parse and access any kind of ISUP part, which is available into the SIP messages. So you can access, you can change it, so you can do different kind of operations. And even more than that, you can actually convert from SIP-I or SIP-T to normal SIP, so kind of a gatewaying between two. Because in our days, there are carriers willing to offer SIP-I trunks for, let's say, as an alternative for the costly SS7 connections. So yeah, it's nice, it's cheaper to get SIP-I, but most, if not almost, all the SIP end devices are really not friendly, and this is in a nice way said, when it comes to SIP-I. Basically, most of them do crash, or they completely misunderstand what you are trying to do over there. So the idea is you cannot push the SIP-I traffic directly to the end phone. So, okay, if you have such a trunk from a carrier, using OpenSIPS, you can convert it, everything you can convert it to SIP, to pure SIP, and send it to your customer. That's a really, really easy and money saving at the end way to do. This feature, it's in 95% done. It's not yet uploaded on the public CVS. We are still working on improving the user experience when it comes to manipulating the ISUP headers. It's a matter of 1 or maximum 2 weeks to to upload it on the server. And I have to thank to Flavio for, let's say, coming up with the idea and for helping with testing, for providing some SIPI trunk for testing. But definitely, I'm pretty sure that will be more testing to be done with this later. For the CG rates part, I will let my colleague Razvan to give you some updates here, because it's his baby, the CG rates integration. Razvan?
Hello.
Yep. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm very glad to announce this new feature of OpenSIPS that I've been working for quite a while, for a couple of months, with Dan. I see him here listening to me. Hi, Dan. So we've been working together to get this module, to get this integration with CG rates done as soon as possible, so that people that are using OpenSIPS to get even more accurate billing and get all the billing features of CG rates. In terms of implementation, what we've done was trying to move all the communication between OpenSIPS and CG rates, because CG rates is an external engine, to make it as efficient as possible and use the generic interface that CG rate provides. Using this new module, so you could have used CG rates until now through REST queries, but now we are doing it even more efficient, and we've also improved the way OpenSIPS talks to CG rates by building a new module that integrates directly with the server and allows you to use simple primitives like do accounting for this session, for this call. What the module will do is go to the CG rates engine and start a session. And when the call ends, it will send a close command, so it will terminate the session. A very useful feature for prepaid billing scenarios is for CG rates to close the call when, for example, an account no longer has enough money to continue the call. This is also implemented in OpenSIPS, so whenever the user, the account runs out of credit, the CG rates will terminate the call directly, because, well, OpenSIPS doesn't really have any information about the account. You can also use this module to authenticate calls, for example, to make sure that your customers do have an account, that they do have money on it, and it can also be used. Basically, the module can be used to send any arbitrary commands to CG rates in order to communicate with it and find out as much info as possible regarding the account and its session. Of course, the status of this module is almost done. It's about to be released in 1 or 2 weeks. So you'll have plenty of time to play with it, to install CG rates and run some calls and see how it works. We will also provide you a couple of tutorials so that you can ease your setup, at least for the beginning, and see what can be done. Okay, so that's about CG rates. Next, we have the FreeSwitch load balancing topic on the list that my colleague Livio will be talking about. Livio.
Hey everyone, It's nice to see we've actually grown in numbers over the past minutes, and since the major topic of this release is integration, we have another feature coming up that's on par with this idea. I'm actually working on it. I mean, not as we speak, but during these weeks. And we're basically going to introduce an even better way of balancing towards clusters of FreeSwitch. So while the current methods of doing this are pretty cool, right? You get to either define resources like channels or I don't know, conference sessions using the load balancer, or just dispatch them using heuristics with the dispatcher module. This new module, let's say, because at some point it's more of a revamp of the balancer module, will basically allow you to have a very realistic balancing over to these boxes based on their current load. So how we're going to do this? We're going to use the FreeSwitch's event sockets layer, which is their API of controlling the daemon. And it basically allows you to modify some of its parameters in real time, like logging level, or I don't know, I'm still learning about it. Or you can subscribe to events, or and this is what I'm going to use currently. You can fetch statistics such as channels used or CPU load. And using the latter one, we are going to provide sort of a dynamic adjustment to both modules. So both load balancer and dispatcher will be slightly tweaked to work with such FreeSwitch destinations. So, and let's take them one by one. So for the load balancer, because we will periodically pull the load factor of each FreeSwitch box, we will be able to dynamically adjust the maximum values that a profile can reach. So again, this will basically provide the most accurate form of balancing. Or you could opt for the improved dispatcher, which takes it again a step beyond just weight-based by making these weights dynamic. So as the stats from FreeSwitch boxes are coming in, we dynamically adjust these weights, so the dispatcher, as blindly as it works, is somehow becoming more intelligent. So that's about it with the FreeSwitch balancer that's coming up. And please make sure to give all sort of feedback and questions on the mailing list, because I'm pretty excited about this one. And I'll let Bogdan continue with the event engine additions we've made.
I have to
planning
say
to
that
make for the
basically
2.3.
we all were, how to say, excited about this the FreeSwitch part. There were, I have to admit, there were like long discussions trying to find what's the best way. If it should be, let's say, combined with the dispatcher, with a load balancer, what's the best way to do it? And of course, at the end, we said, okay, it actually fits in both cases. But we see a lot of cases where basically collecting the data from the FreeSwitch in terms of load, rather than trying to have OpenSIPS guessing what's the load, will save and improve many scenarios. But let's see the final result. Now, next item on the list is what we call the event engine. Basically, we ended up to the conclusion that we need to have in OpenSIPS something more than a simple ability to perform linear kind of processing. Like, okay, you get a message, a SIP message, and you process it. Of course, you can do like different kind of asynchronous operations to avoid the different kind to avoid the blocking, but lately there are scenarios where actually you need to exchange, let's say, information, so to correlate different messages being separately processed. And for this, we ended up with this kind of engine based on events, where you have subscribers which are definitely subscribing to receive events, and whenever some kind of an event happened, they will get a notification. Basically, to give you a simple example on what will be possible to do with this event engine, is the typical push notification scenario, where you are about to send a call to a user which has the push notification system activated. And what you typically do right now is you trigger the push notification action, and then you are waiting for this registration, waiting for the user to register. So then you are able to send the call to the user. Well, basically we have kind of two messages: the invite, the call that you are trying to deliver being handled, and on the other hand you may have the incoming register, so the user registration. There are two different messages, and they need to work together. Basically, the call processing wants to know when the register will happen. So how it will be possible this with this new event engine? Basically, you got the call, you triggered the push notification system, and in the same time you subscribe to a register event for that user, saying, okay, I want to be notified when there is an incoming registration for this particular user. Then the call processing may continue. Maybe the user has multiple contacts registered, maybe an IP phone, maybe it has some forwarding on PSTN and so on. So there are some branches that may take action immediately. So you can fire the call to this already registered destinations, while in the background you are waiting for the event of user registering as a result of the push notification. And when the registration is coming, this will say, hey, there is actually someone waiting for this event, interested in this event that user X actually registered, and this event will be delivered to the subscriber, and the subscriber at this point will simply create a new dynamically a new branch, a new SIP branch to the call, and send the call also to the newly registered device. So basically this event engine gives you the possibility to interconnect, to wait and notify different processes in OpenSIPS, depending on, let's say, what kind of information they need to exchange. And this is not only between between different parts of OpenSIPS. For example, it can be extended between a media engine and OpenSIPS. Like you have a signaling, and at some point you may want at the script level to receive notifications about, let's say, DTMFs detected by the media relay. So the media relay is an external application. You can fire an event that it's captured by different kind of subscribers at the script level that will do signaling, SIP signaling. So that's also there are examples for call pickup where you have to interact between two calls and they are waiting on each other and so on, or call transfer, different kind of things. So this event engine basically implements a subscription notification model, and it will be really useful if you want to bridge different kind of processings in at the script level, you know, the processing for different kind of messages. At this point, it's probably a bit more difficult to understand because it's a quite a high-level concept. It will be also used not only for script level, but also internally when probably hidden from the eyes of the users. Different parts of OpenSIPS will have to do or to fetch information from other processes. So it will be kind of also an substitute for an IPC, for inter-process communication for SIP. Now we will definitely see at the when it's done. We will have the examples in place, and at that point you'll get some good feeling about this interesting feature. But that will open a lot of doors in terms of what can be done. I think now the next thing on the list is the extended RabbitMQ support, which is under the supervision of Razvan.
Hello, back. So for this, as you probably know, and you are probably already using, I know at least a few people that are using the RabbitMQ module to send all sorts of jobs to a RabbitMQ server. We already have this, so we already have this in OpenSIPS. However, the current feature is based on the event interface, which basically only allows you to trigger or to send a command or a query to the RabbitMQ server when an event happens in the script. Well, although it can be used to be manually triggered, we found out that the current syntax and the way it currently works is not as flexible as we would like. So we decided to make a completely separate module, for RabbitMQ communication, so for AMQP messages, that allows you to make two separate that brings two separate enhancements. The first one is that, well, you will be able to do even asynchronously calls or send messages to the RabbitMQ server. That's one of them. So you will no longer need the event interface module to do that, or at least not for this. And the other feature is that the way the message itself is encapsulated for this request. Up until now, the payload of the RabbitMQ's message had a very strict format and was sent in the body of the message. From now on, we are going to use the or will allow you to use the special parameters allowed by the RabbitMQ protocol. This allows you to easily parse them in a very standard way. on the server side. So basically, this will improve the integration with an RabbitMQ server and the consumer of the events or of the message in the Rabbit message queuing server. Well, again, this might not be seen as a very big improvement because, well, you can already do RabbitMQ. You can already send RabbitMQ messages to the server. However, we find that the way we are currently doing it is not as flexible as we would want, and is not as standardized as we would want. So we decided to integrate this commit in the this feature in the next 2.3 release. Having said that, we will proceed to Bogdan's asynchronous support. This is one of the most, I think, at least the most fascinating feature of the new 2.3. Bogdan?
Yeah, that's kind of a continuation of the work we started, since with the 2.1, since we added the asynchronous support. Right now, you can do let's say the straightforward asynchronous. You can suspend and resume later when the operation is done, but we want to add some more flavors to that, and we're gonna add the new primitive, the launch primitive, which basically will, let's say, spawn a separate thread of execution for the thing that you want to process to handle, while the message processing will continue. For example, if you want to execute an external script or to make a DB operation, this will be launched and executed in the background while you will simply continue your script. Basically, okay, I want to insert or delete some stuff from the database. I don't really care about the outcome of the operation. Basically, the outcome will not affect the processing of my SIP message, so I can simply continue with the SIP message handling without waiting for the execution of the IO operation. This will perform once again somewhere in the background in parallel, and at the end you may have two options. Either when it's done and that's it, nothing special will happen. Either you may provide a script route to be triggered completely asynchronous when the operations outside the context of the original message, to be triggered when the operation once again it's done. Maybe you want to check stuff, I don't know, but we said that it will be good to have this possibility. Such needs popped up quite often while working together with the SIP capturing team when using OpenSIPS as a HEP proxy. That's something new that OpenSIPS 2.2 can do. Basically, right now it's the only application that can perform HEP package proxying. And while performing this kind of proxying, it also collects a lot of information and so on. And in this case, you need to store information into the database, but without affecting the performance of the script. So you just have to do this operation, do this operation, do this operation, without waiting for the actual answer. So that's a good usage for this new launch operation. Also, we are looking to extend the asynchronous capability also for other kind of routes. Currently, you can perform it only in the request route. So when you handle the incoming request, you cannot perform it, for example, in a timer route or in on reply route or something like that, because it's quite tight related with the SIP transaction. So we are working on a model where the asynchronous support will be decoupled from the SIP transactions. So basically you gain the possibility to perform it in almost any kind of type of route. In terms of integration, this will definitely allow you, to do not necessarily more operation, but to do it in more efficient way, basically translating in, do as much as possible in real time without waiting when it comes to, let's say, pushing data, pushing logs, and to backends and so on. So it will definitely create some major advantages. And the last topic we have for the 2.3, even if it's not, it was kind of a funny situation we were discussing in the morning about that how the heck happened that we missed one of the most important things from the list on the blog. We will correct that, but we missed the famous mid registrar part, which is again something really useful when you want to implement kind of a front ends for PPXs or for, let's say, for FreeSwitch or for Asterisk or for anything like that. But probably we missed to list it over there because it's already done for some time, and it's done, it's over there, it's working, it's doing the job. It's a good kid. Yeah, usually you tend to overlook the good parts here. You are focused on things that you have to work on. Right, but I will give the pleasure to leave you to give you more hints on what is the mid register and what it can do. I mean, what exactly can you benefit from? Well, Livio, I guess you will have to unmute yourself.
Okay, so
yeah, you are good.
Thank you. So software moves pretty fast these days, but I still like to say that it's a fresh new concept, even though it's close to like 9 months old. We came up with the idea of this mid registrar actually on the mailing lists. So someone was asking how could I implement this registration component that changes the contact expirations, and from that idea we developed it into a fully fledged module that most of you have probably already seen me present over at Astricon or ClueCon last year. So to those of you who aren't very familiar,
sorry to interrupt, but actually the story goes actually more long time ago. I remember maybe 3 years ago, maybe more, during a ClueCon, being outside, during the breaks, the conference break, talking to Ken Rice, and he mentioned something like, well, it would be so nice if he could somehow unload the FreeSwitch box, of all these registrations, right?
Right.
If there would be a way to magically get rid of that, still needing the registration state, but without the need of handling high registration rates. And well, the idea was somehow boiling for quite a long time, but I think we ended up that okay, now it's the right time to do it.
Right. So things haven't changed much from that point on, because this is the exact usage purpose that we built into it. where its ideal placement is as a front end to your existing registration infrastructure. Ideally, it would be some sort of server farm of hosted PBX that is mainly focused, on providing advanced calling features, and wants to use its available resources into that rather than processing registrations or parallel forking. And regarding registrations, even more so nowadays with mobile devices that have these insane registration rates, like 1 register per minute, which is starting to shift towards occupying a lot of the incoming traffic. So the way we made this registrar work is very similar to the existing registrar module in OpenSIPS. So if you're familiar with that, you should have no problems using it. And yeah, it basically lets you reduce. So one of the main features is that you reduce the rate of incoming registrations on the way out, and it can also take over all parallel forking duties for the PBX layer. And that's it basically. It's that sort of feature that is very easy to plug and play. It's easy to use, but there are lots of quirks and tiny little problems, such as taking care to deregister users because it needs to properly keep track of both registrations, both on its side and the FreeSwitch side. But all of this is nicely masked, and you don't need to worry about it. That's the idea behind it. It should be very easy to use and incorporate into existing infrastructures. And speaking of integrations, there is already plenty of documentation available for it. The module docs are pretty nicely done. There is also a tutorial available, also plenty of blog post material, and if I'm not mistaken, a couple of discussions on the mailing list. So feel free to check it out. Between you and me, I still know there are a couple of bugs in it, but they'll get sorted out for sure within
Livio, I don't
within
think there are
the upcoming
bugs.
weeks.
I think there are some features we are still exploring.
Right. But feel free to test it out, and yeah, let us know how it works for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would say that this mid registrar was a really great outcome from both perspectives. I mean, something quite a valuable tool to offload all the registration stress from your PBXs, and in the same time something that popped up along during history, PBXs not being able to properly implement parallel forking, and in that case, using this module in a OpenSIPS front end, you solve the problem because you move this forking into OpenSIPS while you still do the main registration with the PBX. So once again, you solve quite some issues with that. I was also talking a couple of days ago with Ken Rice from FreeSwitch, because he was playing with it, exploring all the possibilities. Well, he's, let's say, coming from the other direction, from building different kind of FreeSwitch platforms, and he was looking into how to optimize his solutions. But more or less, these are the main things that will be present in the upcoming 2.3. They are in different stages of, let's say, implementation. Some of them are ready, some of them are 90% ready, like finishing tests, documentation and stuff like that. Some of them are, we have to admit, there is no shame, they are still under heavy development, but we are quite keen to stick to the plan in terms of timing. And at the end of the day, we heavily rely on the community to give signals in terms of what we should pay attention to in terms of future development, and also when it comes to testing and reporting. It happened, probably it will happen again, that maybe by adding some new features you may break some old ones, because at the end of the day, you know, the whole OpenSIPS software is quite complex. It's almost, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's a very difficult mission to test different kind of scenarios, including different kind of modules. And sometimes we were actually surprised to see how, you know, other people are using it and how they, you know, they are getting into some dark corners we never thought about, and they are discovering incompatibilities or even bugs and so on. So, well, in terms of, you know, testing, we cannot do everything. So from this perspective, we definitely rely a lot on the support from the community in reporting whatever problems are unveiled by your configuration. So that's a huge effort. As we said, you know, all this discussion about the 2.3, what will be there, we are quite open to questions if you know, you want to find out more. It may be now or maybe later. There are like the discussion threads on the mailing list. There is the blog post. So you know, people can push different kind of questions, because we like to, how to say, to prepare the users for the release. We don't want the release to be just you know, a nice Santa Claus surprise under the tree, you know, like, wow, look, it's a new release, okay, let's see what is in there. No, we want people to be ready and to know what to expect from this release. So that's why whenever there is a feeling that, okay, more information is needed from our side, don't hesitate and use whatever communication channel exists to ask about that. More or less, that was the thing that we wanted to communicate with you, to get to push more information about this release, so you all know what to expect in terms of let's say approximately 3 months when the stable release will be out, so to know what it is there and to adjust plans according to that, so you can get the best to get the best out of it. And we have to admit, it's not an easy job to, you know, correlate, especially when you want to do this integration. You have to work with a lot of people from different projects together, and well, that's quite something. And yeah, that's a team effort. Team effort, saying team of OpenSIPS and team when it comes to all the OpenSIPS projects working together. So if you have any kind of questions, we'll be more than glad to answer. Once again, if you think about later, all the channels are still open for such questions.
Hey Bogdan, this is Eric.
Hi Eric.
So first, thanks guys for all your hard work. Definitely appreciate it. I had questions about two of the things that were on this list. The first one was with the new FreeSwitch load balancer integration. I know that a couple of people on the IRC channel and myself have used load balancer and are trying to find sort of a way to get a little bit more stateful, but not necessarily to the point where you're actually polling the back-to-back user agents that are handling the calls. So for example, something like using load balancer, integrating with the dialog module, and then also maybe like flushing those dialogues to a database or something, at least periodically or whatever, so that if you need to restart a distributor or a load balancer, you can do that, and then it will come back up and still have the state about the dialogues. So I wasn't sure if there was any sort of plans along the lines of sort of revamping the load balancer and distributor to keep that state anywhere except for actually polling the FreeSwitch instances.
The current load balancer module actually does all the dialogue profiling, so basically monitors all the ongoing dialogues to the destination. So at any moment it knows precisely which are the ongoing calls to, let's say, to a specific FreeSwitch box. You can list them. You can see, you know, through the MI interface by listing the dialogues, because actually the load balancer module is creating some profiles, some groups, just to remember, okay, these are the bunch of calls going to FreeSwitch 1, these are the bunch of calls to FreeSwitch number 2.
Right.
And keep counting, it figures out, okay, you know, to get to quite fair balancing in terms of ongoing calls. And ideally, okay, the module has some history in you know, in it, and it's quite difficult to, you know, to make hard statements about corner cases. But as far as I remember, it should survive any restart, OpenSIPS restarts, because, you know, the dialogues goes by the dialog module goes into the database, so they are persistent across restarts, and ideally the load balancer, okay, once again I have to check, load balancer should recover the state in terms of load with that.
Yeah, I've tested it relatively recently. I haven't tested on the latest versions of anything, but the dialogues certainly come back. I mean, assuming you have a DB mode set up where they can flush the database, but the actual count of dialogues between the nodes within, say, the load balancer module don't seem to come back. Like if you do an LB list on a FIFO after you do a restart, it shows 0 on all the nodes, even though there's dialogues that are already done.
Probably either there is a bit of, okay, just to make it softer, regression in that area, or there is somewhere kind of a bug, because the original intention was to support this kind of yeah. The idea with the FreeSwitch is okay. Basically, instead of having OpenSIPS trying to you know, to guess what's the load on the FreeSwitch box, to get this information directly from FreeSwitch, and mainly because of two reasons. First, maybe OpenSIPS, it's not the only one pushing calls to FreeSwitch. Maybe the FreeSwitch gets calls from let's say from other SIP entities. So you just have a limited view on what's on the FreeSwitch going on. So that's a bit unfair. And secondly, you know, not all the calls translate in the same kind of load. I mean, you can have a simple kind of a call that is relayed versus a call landing on a conference with some HD audio codec with, let's say, 50 participants, and definitely the load will not be the same.
Right.
And FreeSwitch, it's the only one who can report this in terms of CPU usage and in terms of ongoing channels. So instead of us struggling to, you know, to guess what's going on, better just get the data from FreeSwitch and do some kind of auto adjustment, you know, in the balancing policy to reflect the reality, you know, that going on the FreeSwitch box.
Yep, that all makes sense. My second question was about the event engine, and it's really mostly just kind of trying to understand the architecture and implementation. I'm not sure how much of that it can be sort of disseminated at this point, but I mean, are you using things like the event routes where you can subscribe for an event and then it sort of resumes processing in the event route once that event triggers? And what's the granularity that you can use for a subscription? Because I know previously you could create a event type, but if we're talking about push notifications and being notified about registration for a specific AOR, or maybe even it's more specific than that, maybe it's actually an actual user agent versus an AOR. So I don't know if you can give any more details about that.
Okay, so when you let's say you subscribe for an event, like I want to see when a new registration comes from a specific user, you will indicate an route to be triggered and executed when the notification will be received. So it's completely decoupled from the event routes, the current existing event route. These are kind of a catch-all, per event type things, where actually the route itself is an subscriber. So in the new model, you can dynamically create subscriber kind of routes. And in terms of filtering, you can do more than simply specifying the type of event, like new registration. As you know, if the events carry a lot of several different kind of attributes, right? So when you make a subscription, you can say, okay, I want to subscribe to this event, the type, with certain attributes. So in this case, when you have the registration, you can say, okay, I want to subscribe to let's say new contact registered, and with the AOR equals whatever, some value. So in that case, you will be notified only if a specific user will register. So you have quite a granularity, but that's given by the information carried by the event itself. If the event can expose a lot of attributes about what happened, then of course you can do filters on all those events.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you to Eric. Okay, so do we have any other questions for today? We planned to have this meeting for around 1 hour. We recorded everything, so we will post this link, this recording for people who, for whatever reasons, were not able to join, but they are interested about the information which was shared here. So just to be sure that everybody is happy. Well, otherwise, just a couple of announcements. In terms of in almost 2 weeks, we will be present at FOSDEM, the developers conference in Brussels, and we will be talking about this event route engine as the main topic in regards to OpenSIPS. And keep in mind that starting with 2nd of May, we have the OpenSIPS summit, where we'll have different kind of activities. Will be the conference itself. We have the roundtables on different topics. We have the design clinics, and something new for this year, we will have a one-day training too. So after the conference itself, we have an additional day for an OpenSIPS training focused on how to build front ends with OpenSIPS, because once again, being about 2.3, we want to get as much as possible tractions from the integration part. And also something new for the summit event. In one day, we're gonna have what we call the interactive demos. We will have the guys from SIP Capture showing, hands-on on a PC how to configure Homer to make it run. Probably Dan will show you about the CG rates. We will have people showing you about how to quickly set up the WebSockets support with OpenSIPS and different other kind of demos. The idea is to show you once again hands-on, looking exactly on a person doing it. So there are no slides, no nothing. It's the real stuff. And at the end you can play with it, you can dissect it, and see the outcome. So that would be something quite interesting in my perspective to be attended. Otherwise, I don't want to steal too much of your time. We are definitely busy. Probably everybody's busy. So I would like to say thank you for everyone participating, and let's stick to the plan and make the OpenSIPS 2.3 some good release that everyone will be proud at the end. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening or day.